first.
Had you guys been to San Diego before? Or?
Yes, I worked at La Jolla Playhouse.
Oh, really?
I did. I did The Wiz. Des McAnuff's version of The Wiz in 2007. Time of my life here.
I remember. I actually am from San Diego. I remember that. I didn't see that production, but
yeah. The cast was amazing. Just like this cast, amazing cast.
And I haven't been to San Diego before. And
seriously?
Yeah, I've done lots of others, but I've never been here before.
Not even with Doctor Who?
No.
That's shocking.
That is shocking. I don't know what.
Well, M has had. M is part of the unconditional love and acceptance.
Yes.
Of the Bishop clan.
Yes.
As it stands now.
Yes.
She softens Sarah.
Yes.
Were you able to draw from someone or something or some experience in your personal life to bring that quality of M to A Discovery of Witches?
Well, funny enough, as out of all the characters I've ever played, this is the closest to me.
Fantastic.
I'm not a lesbian and I'm not a witch, but everything else M is, that's who I am. And because usually the characters I play are the bitch. Or the strong, minded, headness and stuff like that. Actually, I play the Sarah type of character more than I play M, and so this was a challenge for me. But this is who I really am as Valarie. So it was very easy for me to draw.
She knits.
And I knit. Oh my God.
Wait, in real life?
In real life.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have my knitting. With my knitting. Oh my God.
So you
the set
basically
is covered in her knitting.
Oh my God. And I came back and I've knitted like 3 sweaters, a hat, glove, and 2 scarves.
Yeah.
Since
So
February.
you
And I'm on a
basically
coat
have
now.
your own Bishop house.
Yes.
And she had these fabulous bamboo wooden knitting needles that she'd found. That she'd sourced them. She found them in Wales. So she said, "This is what M's knitting needles would be like." And then off she went.
In Afghan, and it was on sale.
And Alex, what did you bring personally to the role?
Yeah, I didn't knit. I didn't bring anything. What I did.
Needlepoint?
No, I didn't do that. But what actually I did, it was interesting because M is, she actually can still work spells, whereas and is a librarian, and Sarah is basically we decided Sarah was working. She'd go to the markets, like farmers markets, and sell her soaps and her body lotions, and it was sort of more like that. But what we did, I sort of thought of it, but we did it together. In reading the book, Deborah is so good at sort of describing how Matthew smells and how Teresa smells to Matthew, and she described Diana. She describes Diana as smelling like willow sap. He smells willow sap and chamomile and frankincense and all these things. And so I, at the beginning of filming, I'd only just met Valarie, and we hadn't met Teresa or Matthew yet. We hadn't shot any scenes with them, and we had a couple of days off. And so I said, why don't we go to Neil's yard and I want to create the smells. Because I was wearing my own scent that I felt was how Sarah smelled and how she would smell to Matthew, and that was all very fennelly, aniseedy, and that's what I wore. And so I thought it would be great if the actors, whenever they come onto set, they have this sort of just like aura of scent around them, which is particular to their species and to their personality. So we had a fantastic day at Neil's Yard Remedies, making all of these potions.
And that's what you're good at.
And that's what Sarah's good at.
Sarah is good at potion
And so we made these 2 little potions, one for Matthew and one for Teresa, which was their species particular character smells, and we gave them to them. And then Valarie, she made up her smell, and that's then what. So we were all wearing our smells then when we were filming.
So when this project came to you both, what was it about the characters that made you feel this is it? I have to be a part of this.
Well, when because when you were talking about when you read that they gave you like
Yeah,
the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
When I just had for my audition production, I just had the like 2 scenes. I didn't read the books, so I didn't know any of the history or whatever. I just had these 2 incredible scenes and her humanity. So yes, we're creatures, we're vampires, we're the demons and witches, and we're very separate. We should not mix. But as M is, it's like you should be able to tolerate and get along with everyone. And that was already written in these beautiful scenes. And so I was like, there's no way I'm not going to do this project if I get hired. Please God hire me to do it. And they did.
Is the scene you auditioned with in the pilot?
Yes, it is. A couple of little things are changed, but yes.
Can you give us a hint what it was so we can like be excited about it when you see it?
Do you have the footage on your phone?
Just watch it.
Oh my God! Yeah, because it was a self-tape, and my friend taped it. I was like, oh, I should have kept it. Oh, I erased it. Oh my God, I can't remember. Let Alex answer the question, and I'll tell you what scene it was because it kind of melded together. So.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of answered the question in the panel, but I mean, what drew me was basically just reading the episodes, the 3 episodes that we were given, and as I said, in the first 3 episodes, our characters don't really appear strongly. They actually, the world of the creatures comes to Madison later on in the series, and that's then when you see the world, really the world of Sarah and Em, and see how they engage, and also how they have to deal with these creatures sort of basically entering into their space. But as I said, I had to just trust that this was going to go forward for me and for Valarie. You know, as an actor, if you're going to commit to 6 months of a year, you want to know that those 6 months are going to be ones that you feel fulfilled in it creatively. And it was great, and as far as we know, it's going to just build from there. And certainly, I know book 2 is very different, and in book 2, our characters don't appear, but the second series is going to work differently, so that you have the parallel worlds going on at the same time, so that you know
Parallel timelines.
so that you know what's going on with us in the contemporary world.
Very nice. And that's actually something that you can't, well, Deb could have chosen to show that in the book, but since she doesn't, and we want to keep these really important characters, that's such a way to visually keep those characters included and weave them into the story.
Yes, and you can't have an entire series without them, because people will lose interest. So you have to keep those worlds still very much alive in the fans' consciousness, actually.
In creating your characters, what was the biggest challenge, and how did you overcome it?
There was no challenge.
I mean, like as I said before, I'm so used to playing her type of character as an actor. So, being the nice girl is not that easy. The bad, I don't know why. Not that you're a bad girl by no means. It's just her energy is what I usually play. That type of energy of Sarah, I usually play.
I think also what was actually rather nice was, we're the aunts. We're ladies of a certain age, and it was actually really nice to not have to sort of be squeezed into something, and I could go around in my dungarees and my Birkenstocks and socks, and sort of like it didn't matter, I could go around not needing to wear makeup and not needing to sort of have to look glam or whatever. So it was actually a real relief.
It really is. Yeah. Once you get over like, oh my God, you can't wear any makeup, give me a lash.
Then it was fantastic.
Great.
Oh, and to quickly go back, I thought about the scene. So I think it's in episode 4, and have you read the books?
Yes.
Okay, so you all know. It's when we find out that she's falling in love with this vampire, and we're telling her, you got to be careful about if it's that scene. It's totally changed from what I ended up doing as far as the dialogue and what the scene was for the audition. Because the audition, they will do more so you can flesh out to see what kind of humanity I'm going to bring to him. And so we're shortening a little bit. But yeah, in episode 4 is when we find out that she's in love.
Now, I know.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Now we know obviously the Book of Spells is the big object that everyone is after in the series. But if you, in your your magical set that you mentioned in the panel, do you think there's one particular object that your character would be drawn to? That, let's say, if there was a fire, they would grab and rescue.
Besides Tabitha.
Yeah. Of course.
Ooh, that's not easy, actually. I mean, I have it's a book that is ours, that has been passed down from generation to generation within the Bishop family, and that is the book that Sarah draws on all the time. And so, actually, if I had to grab something, it would be that, because it's actually our family history. Yeah.
And I would probably do my knitting. I would. But also, personal stuff that I know that she gave me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There are like a few items.
And we take when in later in the book, because you know what happens when Sarah and Em have to leave. Of course, you mustn't say this because it's spoilers and things. But when they have to leave their home, they have to leave their home. When we were filming it, we had suitcases and we were running in and out and filling up on the back of our wagon. And then again, our designers, our house was so beautiful, and they had all these gorgeous sort of mobiles that we'd obviously made, and they were all hanging and tinkling on the porch and everything. And I just grabbed, because it had always been there, sort of just moving in the wind, this one particular mobile, and I grabbed it, and I just thought, I have to take this with me because this is our house. And I, in my mind, I just thought, this is the last thing that Diana's mother made. I had a memory of them Sarah sitting with her on the porch, and she just did this thing with some dried oranges and stuff like that, and just hung it up. But it was sort of, so it was holding on to her as well and connecting with her. And I'm hoping that if we do, then eventually when you see us at Isabeau de Clermont's set tours, I'm hoping that the first shot we have is of Sarah still holding the mobile.
Cat in one hand,
the cat and the mobile.
It's great for
Wild
me.
hair.
But I just have to do the sidebar because I'm such a fan of hers anyway. But as an actor, what a delicious thing to do. Because so when she don't want to well up, because I just remember the scene so well, and it just touched us. And when she didn't tell me she was going to do it, whatever, and just the way you grabbed it and took it, and it was just, oh my God. And that's a tribute to how brilliant she is. And I'm telling you, you guys have no idea what an honor it is to be with her. It really is. I mean, because I'm such a fan. I know, but I'm such a fan. I'm such a fan, and it was just those little things, you know what I mean? And all the actors, this what they brought to the table. I would sit and go, especially towards the end, like episode 7 and 8, when we had all the people descend on that area, and you get to watch these brilliant actors do their thing and what they bring to what you've read, and it's like, oh my God, it just leaps off the page.
We had a very funny moment when it was a scene where we had a sort of like a dinner, and it was all of the creatures, and it's kind of towards the end of the show really, and I knew that shooting this scene, I knew this was the last possible day where we were actually all going to be together as actors, and we were sitting having a meal, and they were setting up and lighting, and there were sort of nuts and all sorts of stuff on the table to nibble, and so we were kind of like laughing and chatting or whatever, and I decided just before they said action, and I don't even know why I did it, I decided to get up and to kind of like to propose a toast as Alex to the company, and I wanted to just say how much I had loved working with everybody and how special this was and how important everybody was to each other. And I got so emotional, I burst into tears. And then they called action because the director wasn't aware, and I was then supposed to do a toast as Sarah, and I stood up and I just went burst into tears, and the director, she was like, what the hell? What was going on? But I'd gotten so emotionally kind of, I was just, it was a bit much.
But it's a tribute too.
But it's true also because we have gone on this journey for 6 months together, and it's a journey where you're taking this story which is precious because it's Deborah's creation, it's her baby, and she's allowed us to hold that baby and to go forward with that baby, and that's a real honor, and you can't take it for granted, and you mustn't disrespect that. And so it was sort of very I just felt it was very important to make everybody feel like we are family. I got all my sisters with me.
Thank you.